Hello, everybody. Welcome to JK Live. It's something I haven't done in a while. Then again, there's a lot of things that haven't been done in a while, so I figured I'd just kind of come on here with this awful hair, with this very appropriate for, I believe, the time and what we're doing shirt, and just kind of discuss it a bunch. Because there's a lot of new things with YouTube. There's a lot of stuff I haven't really been doing in a while, and there's just a lot that needs to be clarified and just needs to be done with. So I figured we would do so. This could be, in a way, a bit of a Q&A if you'd like. Um, but, I'm just generally going to try to cover as much stuff as I can within the next 2 hours or so, just to kind of let everything kind of happen and stuff. Yeah, so without a further ado, let's get into this, I guess. I haven't live streamed here in a while, so let's start with that. What's happening with JK Live? I'd like to continue using JK Live, personally, because this is where I kind of don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. I just kind of get to do things live and on top on a whim, just whatever. And I really enjoy being able to do stuff like that. So yeah, I think great. I enjoy getting to do things more live because that's how like there isn't no editing, no nothing. It's just me. I can't kind of point to here and something will appear because I don't have that editing capabilities here on a live stream. But yeah, there's lots to get through. JK Live, I'd like to continue doing stuff with it. But my life is fairly busy and it's fairly difficult to get through much of anything anymore. So, yeah, there won't be a whole lot of that going on. Yeah. Anyways, so there's a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm just gonna try to keep things nice and organized. So we started with the JK Live. I'd like to do more live streams. Don't know how often that's gonna happen. Only time will truly tell. So, that being said, I'm going to quickly move on to the next subject, which is my own personal YouTube channel, Jay Ward. What's going on with that? I don't have a lot of time to make content anymore. And I'm going to be working on stuff for a new trailer for 2020. That'll be something I'm going to work on. And other than that, I'm just fairly busy nowadays. I just got a job. So with having a job, that becomes kind of a priority, because I want to, make sure I'm doing good at that. So I don't have as much time as I used to. So, yeah, what's going on with the audio here? Hold up. What be going on with this audio? Really? Okay. I figured the audio is coming into this microphone. I I don't believe it is coming through this microphone, or else it would be so much louder, or at least it should be so much louder. Anyways, I'll just talk at a normal voice and hope you can all hear me. But yeah, so I've been very busy with that, and also recording things from just a phone isn't exactly the best. I don't have a lot of storage or space for every little thing that I have to do, which is really unfortunate because there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but without any real room or space to do it, it's very difficult to pull it off. Let me see if I can just bleh. There. Does this make the audio any better? I hope. Where even is the audio coming from? Oh, I bet it's coming from underneath the computer or something. But yeah, so yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time to be making a lot of my own content anymore, which I'm not happy with. But it's still fun. I get to do stuff. You might have noticed a lot of the stuff with Zeth's channel popping up more on my channel, kind of taking individual wrestling matches from his streams and stuff. That's something I just enjoy doing. Maybe one of these days I'll add my own commentary over top of it, and we'll see how that goes. That could be fun to do, I guess. But I would like to start like properly recording my own stuff from time to time. I just don't know when I'll have the time to do so. And when I do, I will. I find mobile games super easy to make, like videos for mobile games. So if you see a lot more of that stuff popping up, it's because it's a lot easier for me to do that sort of stuff. It's nice, quick, and easy. And that's not to say, I want to take things, the easy way, but it's something I do enjoy doing, just kind of randomly talking over gameplay. So maybe that would be fun to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder, I find, to just kind of do like these sit down things. Again, I'm only working with a phone here. And I can't even find my recording stand that I used to have back in the day. So, like, I don't have anything to work with in terms of those things, which is really unfortunate. If I can find it again, then it would probably make it a lot more likely to see videos again. But just trying to place the phone so that way it will record properly is so difficult, ridiculously difficult. Um, and so yeah, that's just one of those reasons why I haven't been recording that much. Um, and yeah, it's just a lot. Here's the other thing too. When it comes to YouTube is changing. I'll be talking about this a little bit later on, but it's kind of nerve wracking to be putting content on here. I mean, I don't make any money from YouTube. I make $0 because I'm not monetized or anything like that. I have like what 165-ish subscribers. So I'm not doing much. I can't do anything until I hit like 1,000 subscribers. So until I hit 1,000 subscribers, and have I think it's like 400 hours of view time, I can't really do anything with that. Um, but yeah, a lot of these this live stream in particular is going to be clipped a little bit back. It's going to be used for other videos on Jay Ward. Just so that way I can get the information out there. But you guys who are watching right now get the live, unedited version. There will be no little bits of editing, boop-bop, and nonsensical nonsense happening. So, you know, I appreciate you coming here and watching the live stream because it helps me so much. But yeah, I just haven't really had a lot of time, and I don't even have the right feels like my equipment for recording videos is like completely gone. So like if I can't find anything, then like I just can't find anything. I also find that I do far too many update videos. Like feels like I do an update video, do nothing for several months, and then another update video. Like I really shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, so that's just kind of the way things are right now. And yeah, it's YouTube isn't the job that I want. Like for most people, everybody thinks, "Oh, YouTube is the dream job because all you have to do is, sit in front of a camera and talk to a camera for like 15 minutes or something, upload it to YouTube, and then you're good. Instant profit. Uh, you can wake up whenever you want. You don't have to wake up early in the morning. But the thing is that YouTube is for me just merely a stepping stone. By which I mean YouTube is kind of my beginnings. For anybody who knows me, they know that, like, if I had to pick a dream job, it would be to be a pro wrestler. And trust me when I say, to become a pro wrestler, just even in the beginning, it requires a lot of money. Money I am not going to depend on YouTube to get for me, because it just isn't going to happen. If I wanted money, I would probably become a Twitch streamer, and I would go try to make as much profit from Twitch, because Twitch pays their streamers 33% more than YouTube does. Fun facts. But what I do like about YouTube is that it gives me the opportunity to build a platform, to build a fan base, and that's something that I find if I were to do on literally any other website, it might be a little bit harder to do. And so, with that being kind of, and I enjoy making videos. I enjoy entertaining. Point blank and period, entertainment is like my number one goal. If you are entertained, educated, or you just had a great time watching one of my videos, then I've done my job. Like, that's my job. I don't have to get paid, but if you really enjoyed the video, or you thought it was so cool, you left a like on it, or literally anything like that, then I've done my job. Some people just really don't like other content, and they'll go out of their way to be like, "Oh, this YouTuber sucks." And you know what? If you're out of your way to kind of express your feelings, then I've made you feel an emotion, and I've also done my job. With that being said, um, I don't exactly have the best quality. I feel like most of my quality has to come from my performance, because I don't have the super good editing software. I don't have the good audio equipment. I certainly can't even hook this mic up, as you can tell clearly, because I thought it was hooked up to this thing. It's not. But yeah, YouTube is a chance for me to kind of build a fan base and express how I feel with all of you guys, and to see if you guys agree or disagree. Um, and to those of you who leave comments, I appreciate the fact that you take time out of your day to just write a little message in the comments, whatever it may be. It's nice to see that. But using that as a segue transition, this thing. All right, I forgot. I don't have editing. For the sake of the live stream, pretend that the Kappa stuff is up here. Ooh. It will be on the edited portion of this. With Kappa out now, Kappa has the right to sue YouTubers who deliberately try to make kid-friendly content for the platform YouTube, not for YouTube Kids. $42,000 a video. Wow, that would put a real damper on Christmas, wouldn't it? But seriously, like, I mean, I understand why they have to do this, because, like, on one hand, it's their job. Like, their job is that they have to protect children under the age of 13 to being specific targeted ads, and I get that, but at the same time, like, I wish there was a better way to handle it. I mean, I know there isn't, because YouTube was like, "Oh, we're so cool and hip with the kids," and then they're like, "Wait, you're hip with the kids, but kids needs to be protected," and that doesn't add up. So yeah, um, it was one of those things that just happened, and YouTube, had to bite the bullet for it. It's kind of unfortunate that they did, but I mean, they were the ones making those choices in the first place. So now we live in this weird place with YouTube, where if you make your content too kid friendly, you lose money, because you can't have the specific ads and stuff like that. But we also live on a YouTube where if you swear too much and you have explicitly inappropriate content, you get demonetized, which means you also don't make any money. So it's almost like you need enough like swears and not good content to keep your content out of the 13 plus range, but you also don't want to overdo it or else you'll be too inappropriate. And it's this weird kind of middle phase. It really is. Um, as a YouTuber myself, who doesn't swear, I just try not to swear. Like, it's not because I'm making my content, appropriate for kids. It's more because we can't control what happens. Technically, any 7-year-old on the internet could just click and go onto YouTube and they could, come find one of my videos. And by all accounts, they could watch one of my videos. Like, any child could do that, technically speaking, if they're not being properly supervised by a parent or a grown up. Any child could do that technically on anybody's content. So I don't swear to make sure that if a child were to come to my channel and click on one of my videos, there isn't a fear or a worry so much about them learning a swear word from my channel. If they accidentally did that to a PewDiePie or a Jacksepticeye, well, then they're probably going to learn it there. But I'm trying to make sure that they're not learning it from me. Um, and I think it's something that's important. Like, I think if you have to consider the broader audience perspective, it's important not to like have these things happen. It's important. It's really important actually. Um, if you were to just, not really care about that, well then, that's just how you feel. And I'm not here to tell you you're right, you're wrong, you're blah 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 blah. But, when you're on YouTube, you should consider just a wide perspective and that anybody at any point can watch your content. So that's why I generally don't swear in my stuff because, you know, I try to think about how unpredictable this platform can be and that how at any point, literally anyone could have to come and watch my content. Um, It's one of those things I always just try to be aware of when making videos and stuff. It's just what I do. If I was making content for ages 13 and under, I probably would follow everything to the T, because, YouTube have now set these guidelines in place. So now we got to follow them. And that's why I'm deciding to keep my content above 13 plus. I've never really I haven't really cared too much about like my audience and stuff, honestly. But I know that that's super important. Like YouTube, I mean, for gosh sake, I think I made a video about the YouTube Academy, I think. And if I haven't, then oh well, I probably should. But YouTube have this academy where they teach you like how to be a better YouTuber, and it covers things like creating an audience, how do you keep an audience, and staying within the bounds. If you are a gaming channel, only make a gaming content, blah blah blah, blah something 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 something. Do it daily and all weekend long. Gaming content. But for reals, if we're being for reals though, I've never liked kind of following that system of stuff. I never have. Some of my videos are music videos. They are the most popular ones on my channel. Some of them are bits and bops from other people's stuff, like the Zetha videos I've been doing recently. Other bits and bops are from mobile games, and some of it is just kind of like this, a piece to camera talk, whether it be a movie review or in this case a YouTube review. It's just one of those things that I'm doing. I think it's important that, you find your own identity and you make things work. I think that's really important because that's the only way YouTube is going to be fun. I mean, you could turn YouTube into a job in which your job is to earn the most amount of subscribers as quickly as you can, so that way, you can make all the monies all the time. But we live in this weird age of YouTube where clearly that isn't going to be possible. It's going to be very difficult to in a way, hack the system, because in the history of YouTube, when we look back, YouTube in its early days, it was, oh, have the most inappropriate stuff, and that'll get you views. The boob thumbnails, if you will. And those would always kind of get you the best kind of views, even if you didn't have any actual boobs in the video. That boob thumbnail would get you all the clicks or whatever. And then YouTube kind of tried to evolve. It was like, right, we don't really want to be considered like a porn site, so we should probably make this thing not super cool. So they started, making sure that other videos got views, and they kind of gave rise to the gaming age, if you will, where as long as you were doing gaming content, you would make views, and things like Minecraft rose very quickly because of that, as a result. And then they were like, well, we don't really care about music, but music on the while was just kind of being music. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it was kind of in between. It had its ups and downs. But then YouTube really wanted to care about music, so they started really trying to make sure the music companies wanted to post stuff on YouTube. And that's kind of led us to where we are now in this really weird age, in this really weird period starting in 2020, where if your stuff is too inappropriate, you're going to get demonetized. If you are making content that is too kid friendly, you don't get the specific ads, personalized ads, and therefore you lose a bunch of ad revenue that way. And it's this weird period where it's almost like for the first time, YouTube needs to kind of establish itself as more of just a place you go to build an audience. I've always kind of looked at YouTube as a place to kind of build my audience, and I'm going to continue to use this platform and this site to do just that. I mean, I want to be a wrestler, but if wrestling has taught me anything, it's that there's a lot of little nuances. There's a lot of little things that go into wrestling. It's not just the wrestling moves. Ugh. It's not just the moves. It's not just the personalities. It isn't even having the good promos. There's a little bit of everything that kind of goes into it. So really, and the best thing you can do is just to build an audience. I mean, look at Up, Up, Down, Down, and Austin Creed, Xavier Woods, for example. Like, he doesn't do a whole lot of wrestling, but he doesn't have to, because he's developed this bit of a fan base that support him, and I think that helps Xavier Woods as a wrestler more than Xavier Woods, wrestling good matches. If not, it's just as important, maybe even more, because showing this personality uh, gives him a whole new audience that he might never had if he's just, oh, Xavier Woods, fantastically good wrestler. Because it feels like nowadays everybody is a fantastically good wrestler, and there are very few personalities now. Um, and I'm not here to say, oh, it's bad that we have too much good wrestling. It's great to think that at any given point in the year now, we could get a 5-star classic at any point in time. That's so good and so important for the wrestling business. But we don't have enough personalities anymore. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But if you don't have a personality, the one thing I will say is that personalities are now able to stand out a lot easier. If you had to look back, a few years ago, it would be so hard for you to get over a personality because it was in that time period we were all just kind of appreciating better wrestlers and we were kind of getting, the stuff like uh, Nick Densmore's character, Eugene. Like, we had all that stuff, and I'm not here to say, oh, Eugene was a horrible character. But like when I say Eugene for the wrestling audience, you all know who I'm talking about. You all do. But like nowadays, we have people like the Velveteen Dream who are thriving completely. Tommaso Ciampa thriving completely. Uh, we have these personalities that are lively and bright, and they're shining through because it's this perfect blend of great wrestling, a outgoing personality, and it's just pure brilliance. Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze, probably would not have been as popular if he didn't start his run on NXT. Like nowadays, you get "Welcome Back, Tyler" chants. Like, it's insane. It's insane to think that all of this stuff is happening. YouTube, I've never thought it would be a place where I make money. And now with Kappa's new system, I'm even more sure that I'm not going to be making any money from YouTube. I'm sure some of my friends like Jacob Tebow, he will be making money off YouTube. And if he is able to do it right, I wish him all the best because, he's worked very hard to get to where he's at. So he deserves it. He's earned it. But at the same time, it's always kind of worrying too, especially for someone like Jacob, who may or may not fully understand what the new laws are and stuff. Like it's kind of concerning. At any moment, Kappa could look at one of his videos and go, "Oh, he's making it for kids on YouTube. Well, now we gotta sue him." So then they go out and then they sue him $42,000 just for one video. Like that's 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 a lot of money, people. Like I'm no expert on what you could do with $42,000, but I'd imagine there's a lot you could do with $42,000. Like that's almost overkill for a punishment. Like I get, again, we need to protect the children's privacy on the internet. I get it. But like $42,000 really? Like that could just completely harm and ruin someone like with one video. Think about if it happened to 10 other videos. Now it's 4,020 $420,000. We could go on and on and on. The number could just get bigger based upon how many videos they decide to just kind of copyright or sue someone for. Like, it's the most unsafe place to ever post content. It's almost concerning. Like, it's actually concerning. Like, this is a problem YouTubers are now going to have to face. Good luck trying to build an audience. And I get that YouTube is looking to become more of the platform, and it almost looks like it's just going to try to become like a news website more so, because it wants all the brands to be, on their side. It wants all that. It wants all that. But it doesn't really care about the small creators, the small guys, and that's kind of upsetting. I think it's interesting that YouTube has created such a culture, and now, to quote Matt Pat's video, on the subject. It's almost like YouTube is opting out of its own culture. Like, could you imagine creating something so big and so huge, and then just being like, "Nah, I don't care about it anymore." Just throw it away. Could you? Like, for another example, could you imagine if Scott Cawthon just stops caring about FNAF games just because for the sake of it, because maybe for whatever reason? Like, could you imagine that? I mean, I couldn't because, he seems like the kind of guy who had worked his entire career on getting himself to this one point, to this moment where I made it, and it just wouldn't seem, like him to just kind of throw it all away. It's weird because YouTube more and more have just become the platform. They've just become the platform. They're like the desk I have my laptop on to make this live stream happen. They are the platform everything is kind of built upon. And I think it's sad that they don't really even care. Like, why and how could you? The biggest sign of this was within the rewinds, apparently, which also doesn't surprise me. The rewinds for the last few years have been viewed on with such a negative press. Um, they even they brought back PewDiePie to try to help the rewind become liked and better, and he couldn't even do it. And it's because you weren't willing to look at the negative, which is ironic because the news and news media outlets don't like to see YouTubers in any sort of positive light. So you have the news media who likes to make YouTubers seem like the worst and lowest of low human beings ever. And then you have YouTube who doesn't want any negative press. It's just like this weird, ironic kind of counterbalance of stuff that seems so weird. It's weird and odd, and I honestly couldn't tell you why. I don't think anybody could, to be fair. YouTube is now just kind of being a platform and nothing else. That's why it won't offer legal advice to anyone, because they know as soon as they do, they overstep those bounds of being more than just a platform, you know, and then they become liable to be sued and all that stuff. And it just kind of sucks. Like, as a YouTuber who, you know, isn't even trying to make money, as just a YouTuber who's trying to kind of gain some traction, just kind of gain some notoriety. What is my English today? It sucks. I haven't just been nervous about making content for the reasons that I've already mentioned, the lack of equipment and what have you. I've also been nervous because I don't know what's going to happen. You know, even though I don't make any money on the platform, could I be eligible to be, copyrighted or sued or anything like that? Like, you never know. And it's just it's just one of those things that has me worried and concerned, and so I try to kind of stay out of YouTube these days. I mean, I still watch my favorite creators because, you know, some of my favorite creators, they make their livelihoods on YouTube. So it's always important to kind of watch their stuff and try to kind of, see if you can help them out as much as you can, you know? in a way, it's weird because, like, it's Boxing Day today, obviously, at the time of the live stream. I'm enjoying my day off. I'm enjoying not having to do much of anything. Uh, and all the while, it's so weird. It's a weird thing. Um, YouTube is a weird place now, more so than I think ever before. And I think as long as, we try to just, remember why we do this, and as long as we continue to hopefully grow and develop, I think we're going to be fine. There are other places for YouTubers to make their money, and I think that is so good to see and hear. There's things like Patreon, Twitch, Mixer, what have you. We have other places now more so than ever. It's very much similar to wrestling because before there was only WWE, like there was only YouTube. But now we live in an age where there's so much stuff. You have your WWE, then you have your AEW, you have your New Japan, you have your Ring of Honor, you have your little indie feds, you have local promotions, you have so much wrestling now, more so than ever. It's very much similar. You have your Twitch, your AEW, you have your Mixer, like your New Japan and what have you. Like you have all these other alternative options, and it's great. It keeps the internet communities, alive somewhat. We got TikTok now. Like we have other places to go in case, you know, you don't think YouTube is going to work out. And I think that's important to have. I think it's huge. Apologies for the yawning. I have no idea where the yawns are coming from. Um, I just remember when YouTube used to be fun, and now it feels less and less like YouTube is fun. It feels more like YouTube is imploding, and it'll be the end of YouTube. Here's the thing: I don't think it'll ever be the end of YouTube. Just like, honestly, I don't think there will ever truly be an end to the WWE. There will never be an end to the WWE, no matter how many heinous or horrible things they choose to do, no matter how many awful, and I do mean awful, booking decisions they make. The WWE will never end. Like, it will probably never fade. And the day it happens, it will probably be a very sad day. Not because, we're losing another wrestling promotion. Not, because, it's sad to see, a company like that kind of fall to failings and, be shut down. But because of the history and how much WWE has done for some childhoods. For some people, it was their childhood to wake up and watch wrestling. For some people, they have fond memories of staying up late Sunday night to watch a wrestling pay per view from the WWE. Some people, it's their childhood dreams and it's their adult fantasies to get to go to watch something like WrestleMania live in attendance. Like, all of that stuff all that stuff creates memories for people. So for that to go away, it's just disappointing. It would be like if YouTube had to shut down tomorrow. It would be tragic because there was a community that was built on this platform, and now it's no longer there. Would we find something new to replace it? I'm sure we would. Because history is bound to repeat itself. So eventually down the line, we would probably have a replacement to YouTube. And if that were to happen, let's hope that that platform doesn't make the same mistakes that YouTube did. There's a reason why I would never be a lawyer, and one of those reasons is because I have horrible patience and I would have very little time to read. I wouldn't want to read anything. Also, you have to write things very specifically. It's the wording that got us into this unfortunate state of a of a place, if you will. Because if YouTube hadn't have just said everything that it had said, we wouldn't be in this predicament now where we are, in which Kappa has years of being like, YouTube, we're cool with the kids. They wouldn't have that to work with. YouTube could use the very easy and simple argument that everybody should be using around this point, which is it's the parents' fault because the parents aren't watching their children. If the parents made sure that the children were watching YouTube Kids instead of YouTube, then we wouldn't be in this mess. And they're absolutely right. For all intents and purposes, they're right. We wouldn't be in this mess if parents were making sure that YouTube Kids was the only thing that their kids were watching. The problem is that, because parents have to live lives too, and, not everyone's perfect, maybe they don't have time to make sure that their child clicked on the YouTube Kids app. And really, this is just a huge debacle that I could get into for another day, really. But YouTube Kids just isn't as well known. When I say YouTube, your first thought isn't, YouTube Kids, man. YouTube Kids is so good for my son/daughter. I have them watching it all the time. No. When you hear YouTube, your first thoughts are the social media platform that has all the videos and the channels. And it can have some of the best stuff on the internet. It can also have some of the worst stuff on the internet. It has some of the best storytelling and some of the weirdest storytelling on the internet. YouTube is like the video equivalent of the internet. Everything has to be a video, everything has a story, I think, whether it be dramatic and serious, whether it be silly and goofy, whether it almost seem to not possess a plot at all, or whether it does. Everything you can find on YouTube, except for the obvious stuff. Like, come on now. The obvious stuff really shouldn't be here for a reason. And the whole adpocalypses and all that stuff, there's it's just kind of silly. I mean, we live in an age now more than ever, I think, where there's very few things that are hidden. There are very few mysteries within the internet. It's just the state of things. It's the state of things. It's the state of things. We don't have very many secrets anymore because if there's something we don't know, we just look it up. If you don't know what the word bachelor means, you go look it up on the internet and you find out that it's about somebody who has never married or nor has ever been married. That's what you learn on the internet. You go look on the internet to find out that the word diva actually means a famous opera singer, which then leads to really funny thoughts like thinking that the WWE were calling all their female singers divas, famous opera singers, and they had a Divas Championship. Dang it, I just realized that there's still no editing on this live version. Shoot. You'll see that on the post-edited thing. But there's this conception on the internet now that everything is just kind of becoming lamer and that everything's becoming tame. And while yes, that may be true in some regards, it's also up to you too. Like, Google's biting themselves in the butt just as much as anybody. YouTube is trying to keep, violent video games out of the public interest by trying to keep games like Minecraft and Fortnite at the top of the charts. Yet the Stadia, the new Google, project, Google owns YouTube, is heading this stadium system up with things like Mortal Kombat and Assassin's Creed. Dare I say, two of the more violent video games you could find in the world if you tried. Like, the most literal violent games in the world. And that's part of your lineup for your new stadium. But yet, YouTube is trying to make sure that stuff like this isn't seen. That's interesting. And also very counterintuitive. And it's just a weird platform. More so than ever. Like, it's an unfortunate state that YouTube is in right now. I almost feel bad for YouTube. I say almost because really, if YouTube hadn't have just if YouTube had just kind of kept its mouth shut, not given Coppa a reason to say, "Well, you said these things, so really you're the ones to blame," then we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in. We wouldn't be. We wouldn't have to worry. We wouldn't have to care. YouTube wouldn't have been sued, and this whole thing wouldn't have had to have started. But it does. But it's now happened. So now we have to go on and try to live our lives and try to deal with the fact that this is a thing that we have to live with. And hopefully one day I won't become a YouTuber, because if I have to become a YouTuber to make money, then I might as well just be rolling the dice every time I make a video. Will I get sued by Coppa today for $42,000, or will I not? Hmm. It's a real unfortunate state of things right now, is the YouTube system. And speaking of unfortunate states, I think that's a nice little segue to my channel, because of course it is. Of course it is. When is the next video being uploaded? I'm sure you're wondering, and to be honest, it'll probably be in about a day or two, when I have time to take this live stream apart segment by segment, and just kind of make intros and outros for each little segment, because I still have to do that. Oh, these yawns are the worst. There's nothing worse I could do in a live stream than yawn. Makes it seem like even I'm being bored by my own content. Good gosh. It's either that or I'm not getting enough sleep, and trust me, I do try to get enough sleep. But yeah, no, last time I made an actual video on my channel, let me see when that was. We're gonna bust out ye old phone here, trusty device, and we're gonna see when is the last time I made a video on my channel, like a proper video on my channel. That was the update video about a month ago. You see what I mean? Technically, before then, it was the 150 subscriber video. And wrestling memes and all that stuff. Wrestling memes did pretty good. If we sort by most popular videos, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Oh my gosh, all my music videos have over 200 views now. Oh my gosh. I have videos in the 200. I didn't even know that. A dang it, dude. I did not know that was a thing. Wow. Like, that's crazy. I try to pay attention to the analytics from time to time, because to just make aimless content would be silly. And if you do have a noticeable audience, maybe don't target them so overtly, but at least kind of recognize, right, I have an audience here. What do they like? I should make more of that. And that's a great segue to music videos. Music videos are somehow some of the most popular stuff on my YouTube channel, on JWard. As I just noticed, apart from the trailers, and trailers do have a bit of a cheating edge in that regard, trailers, because they automatically get played when a new person walks into the channel, thereby making it pretty clear to see it and watch it and stuff. They get watched a lot more than literally anything else. So one of my trailers is up to like 290 views, but the most popular video on my channel is a music video, and it's at 261 views, which to some people is like, that ain't nothing. Have you seen a PewDiePie video? That guy gets like 1,000,000 views on like one video. He's just like the biggest thing. But to me, 261 views is a huge thing because like that's crazy to think about. To me, anyways. That means 261 people, or just one person 261 times, liked watching that video so much that they watched it that many times. Like, that's crazy to think about. How I would have done one of my, the last kind of proper wrestling video that I did, how I would have done the Jeff Hardy heel turn in TNA, that did 203 views. Like, that's crazy. Like that's crazy to think about. That video got like 203 views. Like, that's the stuff I'm passionate about doing. And it's so nice to see it do well. If I had the proper time to put in and make another video like that, I would want to do that because that's the kind of content I enjoy making and doing. However, unfortunately, life is unfair. We have to, we have other dreams and desires and goals, like becoming a pro wrestler. And so stuff like that becomes very difficult to do. The music video in particular is one of the hardest things to do ever. If music videos just require me to sit here in front of a recording device and sing a song, just like this, then I'd probably do them all the time, to be honest with you. I would do them literally all the time because it's so easy for me to just sit here and just kind of sing into this camera, have a good microphone or whatever, and just kind of sing a song full of joy and hope for the world to hear and sing along. But, what would that really entail? Visually, there's nothing visually appealing. You would want to click into another tab and go off and do your own thing while you're listening to the song in the background. So I, being a smart person, would then want to add visuals to it. And trying to add visuals to it is what makes it so much harder because then you have to cut in and out between visuals that are visuals and not anything to do with me singing. But then it also, at some points, may have to cut back to me actually singing. So then you got to sync everything up. And the syncing part is what is so gosh darn difficult to do. If I knew how to do it better and if I knew a more time effective way of doing stuff, then I would probably just do that. Like, honestly, I would be doing that already, but I don't, which is why we're kind of in this area where I don't make music videos anymore because it's right now really, really challenging for me to do. Plus, a lot of those videos are seen in such high regard to try to top it is almost impossible. I mean, with enough time and effort, I would certainly top it. And maybe that's something to look forward to. Maybe in 2020. Maybe come 2020, I will kind of put my hands on my hips and I'll go, you know what? Let's try to make something that's better than that other thing. Let's try to make a music video better than my best music video. And then we go to try to do that. And it's a journey and it's a story of how I put it all together and then I put it out and stuff. Like, it's incredible. Like, and I could do something like that and that would be really, really cool. Um my gosh. It's so funny. Of course. Like, of course, right now my mom's like, "Bacon?" Question mark, question mark. And I'd be like, "Yes, but like I got a live stream to do." But yeah, it's one of those things. Music videos are very difficult to do because I try to hold myself to a high standard. I don't really like to half-ass things. And if I do end up half-assing, I kind of want to do it in a very different way. I kind of want to still feel like I'm doing something, even if it's really difficult to do the thing. Like I said, mobile games are super easy because my phone has a recording thing software within it. Where if I go into a game and I just hit the quick little like record button, I can start recording it and doing all that stuff. Like if I wanted to right now in the middle of this live stream, I could just go on my phone. I could go on literally any game. Let's say, uh, let's go with. Let me see. Let me see if there's a good game I can choose here that best suits this occasion. I could go on to Helix Jump, right? I could go on to Helix Jump, made by Voodoo, H8 Games, and if I wanted to, first of all, I could change the skins and stuff. I could unlock some stuff if I really wanted to. I could do all that. I could now if I wanted to, I could hit the record button on my phone. And I could just record. Like that's how easy mobile game videos are. And then, if I really need to, I can plug in these headphones, which use this microphone, unlike this live stream for some reason, and I can just go. I can just start kind of being like, "Hello, everybody. My name is Jay Ward, and we are back today with this mobile game called Helix Jump. You might have seen it. You might have played it. Today, we're gonna play it. And I can just kind of do that. It's really, it's really nice and a simplified way of doing it. And then when I'm done, I can then go into my InShot app. I can maybe frame it a specific way. I can kind of have everything kind of nicely and in place, and then I can take that finished product and I can upload it to YouTube in the nice, very nice way that everything happens. I can do that now, and I think that that's important to do. Genuinely, like this is stuff that's important to be done, and I think it's nice that stuff like that has been, simplified. And for those who still feel like, oh, that's too easy, then that's where you go on to you go to your editing studios and you still put time and effort into really kind of seeing, okay, what bits work, what bits don't. I need to cut this bit out, maybe move it over here, or maybe just take it out completely to make it much more interesting and much more quick and a much faster pacing, like all of that stuff. I think that YouTube is in one of these really weird and awful places right now where you're doomed if you do and you're doomed if you don't. It's interesting because in the year 2019, almost the year 2020, would you even still recommend people make YouTube videos? Would you? Would you recommend to your friends, hey, you should totally make YouTube videos and stuff? it's something that's interesting. Before, a lot of people thought, oh, you record yourself and you upload it to the internet. How cringy. And now it seems like almost everybody's doing it. But the question is, should everyone do it? Should everybody do it? If you're not in this for the money or the fame, then maybe. It's interesting to think about how much this has helped in other regards too. People who maybe weren't so good at, public speaking have gotten a lot better by just simply sitting in front of a camera and doing a speech. That's something. Some people who maybe are shy and maybe who aren't very good at talking just in general do this and they get better just by practicing. And sometimes it's still very much cringy, and other times it isn't. I would like to do more live streams in the future. I would like this channel to continue to grow if possible. That may seem very difficult though, because it's out of all my YouTube channels that I know by just kind of generally searching, I know that this is one of the harder channels to find by purely searching. Jay Ward is probably the easiest. And if you search Jay Ward and you click on, like, I think one of the first kind of little clickable icons on my background, it's probably easier to find that channel that way. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So yeah, it's just one of those things. And I think that's all for now. If I have to do a follow up, I'll do a follow up. But yeah, I plan on doing more live streams. They'll probably be movie night live based. Hopefully, I won't get copyrighted like the last one. Screw you, you horrible thing. Anyways, I'm Jay Ward, host of JK Live. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and hopefully, this message will get across at some point. See ya for now.